I'm Serena Sutcliffe and I'm head of Sotheby's International Wine Department, and I'm standing in the main gallery of our London sale room, and there are a lot of great Scottish pictures here.
And Serena, could you tell me a little bit about the auctions that you've got coming up here at Sotheby's in terms of wine auctions?
We have a series of fantastic single owner sales coming up in the next few months up until Christmas. We've just had a 2-day sale here in London, which was our 40th anniversary sale, and we have some fabulous private collections coming up in October and November. And then in Hong Kong we have a series of 4 different single owner sales. Some very big collections that have come over from America.
And what are the highlights of the Hong Kong sales?
The Hong Kong sales, I suppose, the absolute highlight would be the ex-sellers Lafite sale we have, where the whole collection is Lafite direct from the Chateau.
And there's some very old wine, I think. There's 1 or 2 lots that go back to the 19th century?
Yes, the span of years is enormous, and the span goes from 1869 to 2009, which isn't in bottle yet, but we've got a bit to sell. And so that is very special because basically that's 3 centuries of Lafite.
And we know this in Hong Kong, that they love Bordeaux and they love Lafite. How do you think the Hong Kong market and the Chinese market is going to expand in terms of the Chinese buying wider, more wines from different producers around Bordeaux?
There's no doubt that Bordeaux is what Asians in general, not just Chinese from the mainland and Hong Kong, but you've got to think of places like Taiwan and Korea and as well, all important. But Bordeaux leads the way, as it always has in the fine wine market, because of the combination of quality and quantity. And gradually, the Asian market is learning that there are more chateaux other than just the first growths and the super seconds. There is real choice there. And so the number of names that are known out there is gradually growing.
And what about 2009? I mean, we all thought that 2009 would go on and on, increasing in price. We've seen the first growths come down slightly in price over the last couple of months. Since May, the first growths have come down. What about, is there a Bordeaux bubble? Will that burst, do you think?
Well, I think the en-primeur market is a completely separate thing from buying wines that have been in bottle many years and people know them and have confidence in them. The en-primeur concept, of course, is pretty new for the Chinese, and I think they're going to learn about that gradually. I hope their fingers won't get burned, because obviously there's a whole lot of different companies out there trying to sell them these en-primeur, and it's a market that you have to be very careful of, since you part with your money, obviously, before you get the wine. So I would expect the en-primeur market to be a gradual process, and there has to be, at some stage, I think, some kind of rule of law, because it's a bit Wild West out there.
And in New York, Sotheby's has just opened its first retail shop. Tell us something about that. What sort of wines are we going to be seeing in there?
Well, the retail operation obviously is completely apart from the auction operation. There is actually an enormous shortage of good wine retail shops in New York. Difficult to believe, since London is very spoiled and we have a lot, but in New York there is a shortage, and it is a real wine-loving city. So we saw an opening, and the whole difference is that in a retail shop you get a span of wines that will be anything, you know, from $12 through to hundreds of dollars. So there's a great range at every price point, and of course you can go in and drink them that evening.
So how many regions do you have represented in the shop?
It's going to be totally international. I mean, it's New World, obviously, but a lot of European. But European, not just Bordeaux and Burgundy and Rhone, but, you know, obviously Italy, Austria, you know, we're making it, I hope, really exciting. And it's very personal too. We and our team choose all the wines. So we tend to buy what we like and hope that that suits other people.